Really?
Oh, I could go a mile.
You could wheel like that?
Oh, yeah. I bet you I could do it now with a little practice.
You never rode a motorcycle, huh?
Why?
Because you'd probably be a good wheelier.
I don't know. Are we ready?
You'd have to do that when you're in high school, because once you get married, you're too smart to do stupid stuff.
Okay. Hi, I'm Bob Trump, physical therapist.
And I am Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
And together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, and look at this. This is a true feat of skill.
Life is a balancing act, isn't it, Brad?
We don't recommend this for people with wheelchairs, though.
All right, Brad, what are we talking about here today?
This is something that if you're 40 and over and you have parents that are having problems walking and they just get a walker and you come in the house and you see your mother or father go like this and go like this to get out of the chair, you're going to want to correct her. Which camera are we on here? Okay.
So basically it's a how to get out of the chair when using a walker.
Right. It's very important because that's going to cause a fall.
Yes, it will.
So the thing we're talking about is simply hand placement is the #1 rule, and when you stand up...
Brad, can I cut you off? I would first choice of chair is important.
Okay.
So you don't want to be in a chair without arms.
Right.
And ideally you want to have a chair with extended arms on it.
Sure.
The further out they go, the more likely you're going to be able to push up from it and get way to the edge.
Sure.
Correct?
You got.
Now, so you need a chair like this. This is perfect. This is a great chair. But on a wheelchair, a lot of them have what they call desk arms.
Yep.
The desk arms go up to about here, and then they dip down.
Yep.
And the reason for that is so they can get under tables.
So the table bumps here, you can't get
So it's a kind of a trade-off. You have to decide. If you're going to have trouble getting out of the wheelchair, you need to have the long arm. If you don't, then you can maybe have the desk arm and push off from the back.
Sure.
So take it away now.
Okay. So you've got the arms like Bob was talking about, and you simply need to push off, and like Bob said, scoot forward, hands here, and you're going to push, lean forward, and get up one hand at a time to the walker. And then the same as going backwards. One hand, and then one hand, and then sit down.
You usually have them back up until they feel the chair up against their legs.
Right, exactly.
And when getting up, what's the cue that we often give them, Brad? The nose over the toes.
Nose over the toes.
Yeah.
So it's here, nose over the toes, hands on the armrest, push up, one hand, and then the other here. I mean, you can go both hands, but sometimes that gets a little tricky if their balance is off, which it may be with the walker. And like Bob was saying, I like this. I'm glad you mentioned that, Bob, is make sure they back up right here. You need to feel that chair. You got that in there, Nancy? Feel that chair right there. When they feel it, that's a cue. They don't even have to look back so much. Sometimes people are really looking back and they cannot do that very easily. And then the hands go down, and then the sit down very slowly. You know, if it's going like this and they're plopping down, you know, that can be an injury to their back. So make sure you know, give some verbal cues, nice and slow, take it easy.
And the wheelchair is the same thing. Again, if they have trouble, you know, getting their butt forward, they can walk it forward like this.
Sure.
Or they can lean back and slide it forward like this.
Yeah.
And again, the same thing, you're going to lean forward, nose over the toes. Again, very difficult to get up from a chair if you try to go straight up.
Yeah.
So, but they all tempted to grab onto the walker. So we cue people all the time.
Yeah.
Lean forward and use your arms to push up.
And again, if they are in a wheelchair, make sure the brakes are on.
Oh, exactly.
When they stand and when they sit, because that's an accident waiting to happen. Very easy to forget if you have not been in a wheelchair very much.
So we'll do now another video on how to get up with a cane,
right,
and also with a crutch, right?
Right, and two crutches.
So you can look for those.
So just remember, you've got parents that need a little assistance. Come to our site, and we're going to help with a lot of simple cues like this to keep them safe and dry and keep them coming to those family reunions.
That's right. Cool.